Hey, you guys, welcome to Thoughtful Conversations. I'm your host, Janelle,
And I'm Monica.
my co host. We're co hosts.
And welcome to Thoughtful Conversations. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper on why we started this podcast.
Yeah, so take it away.
So, you guys, for one, the name in itself, Thoughtful Conversations, is to really just invoke thoughtful conversations in your daily life, right? Whether that be with your friendships, your relationships, your family. It's so important to really get to the understanding and to really dive deeper.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. I mean, you said it all in a nutshell. That's why we did it. That's why we're here.
Yeah. And how all this came to be, we were actually I think we were walking on the trail, and we always have invoking conversations about what's happening in culture and what's happening in life, and how we can be better. And we were just thinking this would be really great to just put in a podcast. All these great conversations we have, it helps so many people out there. And that was the first step. And so we literally started there that day, laying out the groundwork. And now we're here.
Exactly. We made it, Mama. We made it.
We made it. But but tell us a little bit more.
So let's go deep into kind of who we are a little bit deeper. So, born and raised here in Texas, went to college, finished my undergrad at Oklahoma Baptist, and I was there hooping. I was on a hooping scholarship, and I enjoyed my time there. Definitely was a very interesting process. Well, let me rewind. So I went to JUCO here, went to college here in Plano. I had a scholarship there, transferred after 2 years to Oklahoma Baptist. And so that process was definitely a lot of learning, just being able to have a different, as a hooper, you're very much challenged every time. Everything you do, you're always trying to make sure that you are close to perfect, or you have that pressure of making sure you do everything right. And I think being in a competitive sports world, you struggle with making sure that you're so accountable to what you're doing. And sometimes you don't even realize until after you get done out of your competitive sport, wow, it can be a blessing and a curse, because now you're trying to live up to this level of potential of trying to do everything right. And so that part of me is obviously hugely ingrained in me, and everything that I do is the discipline that I have, the skill sets and the mindset, the training, all of that translated into real world. And it made me be the person who I am today. That was part of my life. It's not my identity, but it is part of what created me to be who I am in a lot of aspects. So fast forward, you get into corporate world and you start seeing real life for what it is. And it all just kind of, I will say though, I was fortunate and blessed enough to really have favor. God carried me through all throughout my time periods. He was so he just was there with me. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have a lot of the struggles that maybe a lot of other athletes had, or that I've heard, even people that I talked to, I was just so blessed and fortunate to be able to do what I did. I excelled, move forward in life. But then you have those, like I said, I think for me, I battled a lot with mental. So dealing with what I felt, whether that was perfectionism, if I'm doing things the right way, am I living up to what I think it should be, all these different things. And I dealt with that more so internally. And so I am more of an internal person. I process a lot of things internally, may not express it, but as I've gotten older, I've learned to open up and talk about it, write about it, vocalize it, even if that's just me vocalizing it out loud. It really makes a difference between saying things internally in your mind and just speaking out about it and just talking.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I really just started doing more of. And now in my 30s, definitely after you leave your 20s, 20s is kind of you think and then you get in your 30s, you really don't know anything. You don't, and your wisdom is more there, but it's all of that time I thought I knew what I was doing in my 20s, you're in 30s, you're you know what, I really don't know exactly everything, but I know what areas that I need to continue to work on. I know my boundaries a little bit are more clear. So being here in this time period of my life, I'm just now sweeping up everything that the 20s was there. Now I'm sweeping up and making sure everything is in its right pockets, but giving myself grace, like grace to rest, grace to, you know, do the things that I want to do in my life. And I think I've really been a proponent to doing everything I said I'm going to do, being a woman of my word. So sticking to that. And that's really what has also carried me through. And I'm going to continue to do more so of everything I said I'm going to do it. And now in my 30s, I'm more clear about what that looks like and setting the boundaries more clear and being intentional. So yeah, it's a little bit.
That's powerful.
Well, thanks.
That's powerful. Thank you for sharing. Honestly, you know, it's really of like all of those experiences made you who you are. You know, and all the experiences made you more mindful, more thoughtful, right? Of like your day to day, right?
Yeah.
And so they have this saying, and it says like your habits become your lifestyle. You know, and small habits create lifestyle, and it doesn't start with just like, oh, like, yeah, this one day I did this, but it was the small things that you did every day that contributed to the bigger picture. Yeah. And so that is amazing that you've created discipline along the way and that you're still giving yourself grace to like, you know, move and improve.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A little bit more about me. So I'm not going to keep y'all long. I feel like I'm kind of long-winded, but
no, tell us. That's what we're here for. Come on, say it. Say it with your chest.
So, I think growing up, I've always grown up in a sports environment. I think growing up, I went to like Mavs Basketball Academy during the summertime, and then during the school year, I went to Saxe High School, and then I played basketball there. And then like basketball has always been a reoccurring thing. That's how we met, you know, and like being able to like play collegiately, and that nuance of like, okay, going from college basketball into like corporate America, right? And like my very first job, I remember being the IRS. I hated it. It was awful, right? But it really does show you like your purpose in life. And so I knew that I wanted to work with teams. I wanted to work with people. I wanted to impact people. And so when I graduated with a social work degree, I knew I would need to go back and get my master's. So I got my master's from UTA, and then now I'm, you know, in prison reform, making an impact for mental health and people who are incarcerated and being institutionalized, but really seeing like at the state level, at the federal level, at the national level, like there are so many policies that are being passed down that really do impact our day to day, you know? And so like, I want to be a person that impacts policy, that impacts populations of people, so that they can live a better life, you know, and like being able to not only do that, but have thoughtful conversations, right? And to invoke beautiful things in life, and like capture moments that will pass you by, you know? And so I think that even going deeper, you know, losing loved ones. So I've lost my mom. I'm not my mom, my aunt, right? Ooh, Lord. Right? Like, gosh, forbid, I love my mother. Listen, Beverly, listen. God, no, listen, Beverly. I would never want to lose you. Listen, you're still out there. But like losing my aunt and losing my father were like some of the biggest losses. But in that, I also learned like health, right? And like taking my health more serious. Like, I think that when we're younger, we're like living, you know, we're going out to eat, we're going to play basketball, we're like la-di-da-di-da. And then I want to say I hit like 25 and everything said, woo, you know, and your metabolism slows down and your hormones change and things change in your body. But like there's beauty in not only giving yourself grace, but just taking it day by day and creating those small habits that like really help you exercise and train, and it helps your mental health, right? It helps your physical health, it helps your spiritual health, and just taking those mindful, thoughtful moments in life really do help. So
I love it. Packaged it up and put a bow on top.
Put a bow on it. Put a bow on it. Yes. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we hope the listeners will take away from our conversations, right? Thoughtful Conversations podcast. Yeah. I hope that the listeners really take away how to have a thoughtful conversation with your loved ones. And really like taking the time to want to have the thoughtful conversations, right? I think that we live in a day and age where we escape hard conversations.
Yeah.
And we do a disservice to our loved ones when we escape those conversations that can promote not only healthy communication, but healthy conversations and healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Right. And so being able to preserve that by having the hard conversations.
I can ditto that. I think it's so important to really talk and really be transparent and be open and not be afraid to say what is on your heart.
Yeah.
And I think we do live in such a society of where people are ashamed to share what they feel, even if it's a negative or a bad thought, because we're so shaped to be like this perfect nation, this perfect place. Like, no, God wants you to come as you are, like literally in rags, because that's, we are without him, we're not anything. So it's like you are coming to who you are, whoever you're coming to as yourself. And I think that we need that more, just transparent and being able to know that you have a safe space to communicate. And we want to be able to be that safe space. And I feel like we're a safe space to one another where we can feel like that. And we want to share that with you guys. And so that's so important. If we just reach one person, that's enough, but we want to reach as many people as we can just to share our hearts. So
yeah. And I love how you said that, safe spaces. And like, I think what sets this podcast apart from other podcasts is just the fact that we believe in safe spaces, and brave spaces, right? And like safe spaces and knowing that you're safe and that you're seen and you're valued and you're loved. And not only do we love you, but like God loves you and he sees you, right? Yeah. He values you. And with him valuing you, you have a valuable voice that deserves to be heard. And that's when the brave space comes in, and knowing that like out of the mouth, right, the heart speaks. And we can't help you, and other people can't come alongside you if you don't open your mouth, right? And I think that we live in a day and age where it's kind of like, well, read my body language and read my actions and read my mind, right? And we have to get to the point where we can communicate, right? Where we can have these thoughtful conversations and create a brave space for you to be able to operate in. Yeah. So
smooth operator.
Come on, smooth operator. All right. What is one thing you wish your listeners knew about you as the host of this podcast? So I'll go first.
Okay.
I think one thing I wish the listeners knew about me would be that I am a human being that is sensitive.
Absolutely.
I think that I talk a lot, but I also am sensitive.
Yes.
And so like things like kind of sting a little harder and a little longer. Yeah. But I think it's so important to like have the space to like not only receive like things from people, but also be able to like communicate how I'm feeling, right? And I think that if you've grown up in a superwoman environment, I think you kind of like you take it and you keep on ticking, right? You take a licking and keep on ticking, and so like you're used to like hearing things and then be like, all right, cool. We're gonna take it and we're gonna keep playing, right? And like even like with the basketball background that we have, like we're used to taking correction and then like implementing it in the game and keeping going, right? Yeah. And we didn't think about like, oh, like you're still thinking about that after the game,
emotions,
right? Like you're sitting in the car, like you're at night, you're thinking about all the things that you did wrong, right? And so like little things like that, just knowing that there's sensitivity in that, but it's all for the greater good. But knowing like I am sensitive and that's okay.
That is so like, I'm not trying to even take yours, but that's actually literally like I've been called like overly sensitive before. And because I am a sensitive person, like I can cry. Like I used to hate crying. Like I wouldn't, if I could be in tears and I'd be like, I'm not crying, because I just hated crying. And to this day, like I still don't necessarily like to cry, but I will cry. Like, it's healthy. It's good to cry. So I am just sensitive. And in that same breath, understanding that it's power in that sensitivity. It's okay to be vulnerable with your feelings. It's okay to be open with your thoughts, because that is a superpower, you know, to be able to feel and process. So I am a sensitive person, and that's something that, you know, I can relate to. Also, I'm really friendly. Like, I think sometimes people it's either I get two things. Some people are like, oh, you're really intimidating and didn't think I could say anything to you, or I'm really friendly, and it'd be like, oh, you're really I'm like, I'm really friendly. I just love just to have fun. I love to laugh. Laughing is my favorite thing. If I could be a laugh, I would be a laugh.
If I could be a laugh, what?
I want to laugh all the time. So, yeah, I just I'm a friendly person, and I want y'all to take away from that, because also people have said, oh, don't be too friendly. Don't buy into that. Okay. Be friendly. That's what we were created to be. If that's part of you and you are that, hone into that, own that, be friendly, be kind, be loving. That's what we were created to be and who we are. So I say this because I used to have people to say, like, you're too friendly, you're overly friendly. And that would really kind of make me like go inside. It would internalize, and I would kind of like not even want to be. I mean, I would really have a hard time. Like, should I be friendly, or should I maybe be mean? No, like, be who you are and really just embrace that. Embrace that. So yeah.
That's good. That's really good. Let's go to the next question. All right.
Actually, let's talk about something that's really near and dear to us. Okay, so we both love traveling.
Oh, we do.
We are travelers. What is it? Traveling sisters of the sister. I don't know, sisterhood. Whatever. What that
of the travelers.
Whatever that is. Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Like, so let's talk about your trip. You just got back from Cancun. Like,
I did. Yeah. I had so much fun, you guys. Cancun was a blast. Like, if you ever get the chance to go, it's really down the street, and like, I feel like it's really cheap for like a Caribbean feel, and I feel like it's like perfect. You know, I got to swim with the dolphins and like do all the things, and like, it was just so needed. You know,
I love that for you, friend. You need it in your line of work. You have to take a break.
Have to, like self-care within mental health field, like for all my mental health girlies out there, all my social work girlies out there, all my therapist friends out there, like, you have to spend time pouring back into your cup, because your life is a life poured out, right? And so every day you cannot pour from that well if it's empty. And so just making sure that you're spending time to like refill and recharge.
So in that traveling, like, what are some things that you try to be mindful of as you are going into a trip? Like, tell us like how you plan your travel. Like, if you're traveling with somebody, like, what does that look like for you?
Well, first, like, you know, anxiety probably is the best teacher, but like, honestly, like, you do have to talk to the people that you're traveling with, because everybody is not the traveling friend, you know, and like, that's okay. That is okay. It doesn't mean that that's not your friend. That's still your homegirl. That's still your homeboy. That just means that, hey, you can't be in an enclosed space with this person or on a plane with this person for long periods of time. Right.
And
that's okay. Right. There's levels.
Level 2.
There's levels. Okay. And like, I personally have seen it before. I think I saw it on TikTok. There was a girl that like sent quizzes to her friends and was like, what type of traveler are you? So
That's so good.
So I know if I want to bring you on this trip or not.
Check A, B, or C.
Check A, B, or
all of the above.
But like, yeah, it's so important, because it's like, everybody's not like you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But also, like, you want the trip to be enjoyable, right? And like, I had such an enjoyable trip in Cancun. It was actually a bachelorette trip.
Yeah.
But like, it is important, and like, I'm gonna let you allude to like how you feel like traveling.
Okay, so Monica actually really taught me this, really, because we went on our first trip, and Monica would always be like, okay, who's going on the trip? Like, am I going to be able to meet them? Like, and I'll be like, what does this girl keep worrying about who going and what's going? Why? Like, just come on. Like, because I really just didn't ever think about it. I'm just always like, okay, everybody's going to be fine. Let's go. It's going to be great. We're all having fun. Like, and then we went on the trip. It was good. But then she was like, yeah, like, you know, just, you know, I'm really mindful. And I'll be like, I just kept listening. Fast forward, I realized how important it is, because I've taken some trips and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I thought about Monica. She was right. I need to send out some type of survey or put the boundary lines there, or I can go on a trip with you here, not out of the country. Maybe we're like weekend trip friends, and like you really have to do that. And it's like, dang, because I really just didn't like to do that with my friends. Like I have to categorize people, but it's actually necessary because it really can save a friendship.
It can.
And everybody cannot be in the same space as you, and everyone may not adjust the way you adjust. And I'm like so free spirited. Like I can do anything. You say you want to go to Africa, we can go do whatever. Let's go. Yeah. We can go walk with lions. We can go hang with the cheetahs. And I'm going to be down. I will be down. And I know some people are not like that. Some people be like, I'm not doing that. I want to sit over here and drink my mojito or something. And I'll be like, hey, I can do that too. But it's like, I realize it's such a huge difference. So, I've had some really great travel experiences though. I love to travel. My next adventure is I'm going to do a solo travel trip to Arizona. I'm planning it. So I'm really excited over the summer.
What are you going to do? You're going to jump off the cliff into the water in Arizona? You know they have cliff diving. I
don't know about that real right now. I've done cliff diving when in Puerto Rico, but it was a baby cliff. So I don't know. We'll have to see what that cliff look like. Yeah. But I will definitely have to add that. I definitely want to do, the hot air balloon. That looked like so much fun. There's like the Jeep rides where you can get in these Jeeps and like takes you to different terrains. I'm going to stay at a resort. So it'll be like a spa. So I'm going to book massages. I'm going to have I want to be in this room has like this amazing view where it's just open. So I just want to be in there eating and enjoying my time and just like going to the spa and going just to find some really good restaurants. And so I'm really excited about this. It's my first solo trip. So I'm really excited about that. And then there's I'm going to go on a cruise. I've gone on a cruise before.
Cruise? That'll be fun.
In November, I'm going to the Bahamas. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a 4-day cruise. So in Bahamas is like my dream trip. So I'm really excited to go. But I've had overall good travel experiences. But definitely it's so important, y'all. It's very key. Like Monica said, I'm going to piggyback what she said. Make sure you go on this trip with the right people. Yeah. And just have the conversation.
Have the thoughtful conversation.
Have the thoughtful. bless you, child. Bless you.
Thank you.
Have the thoughtful conversation and just be really realistic. And like you said, it doesn't mean we're not friends anymore. It just means that, hey, like we don't coexist in this space. It's
hard.
It's hard. It is hard.
It's like you have to be willing to have the thoughtful conversation, right? And knowing that, like, hey, are you an itinerary person? Are you a relaxation person?
Right.
Are you a not leaving your room person?
Right.
Or are you like the person that has a fit when they don't get their way?
Ooh, I don't want to go with that one. That person, I can't do it.
Yeah. And it's hard enough. Like, I think that like women, like trips with women can be like a blessed time. They can be a very fruitful, a very great time of like growing as friends. There's a lot of great things that can happen. I think it just depends on like having the conversations ahead of time of like what to expect.
Right.
Right. So that people can level set their expectations when they're going.
And that's how you go deeper with your relationships with people and your friendships, and all of that will encompass thoughtful conversations. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, you guys. I want y'all to follow us on Instagram at thoughtful.conversations. And follow us on TikTok at thoughtful.conversations as well.
We love you guys. See you on the next episode. Bye.